This is a creative challenge for this week. It is a self-portrait Vanitas. So, reviewing this week, you learned about chiaroscuro, which is using contrasting values and the elements of light to create drama in drawing or painting. You learned what the elements of lights are. It's the range of light, including highlight, light, penumbra, umbra, cast shadow, and reflected light. And you learned that a Vanitas is a symbolic still life. You practiced, and now you can create drama using lighting in a selfie, whether you chose photography or drawing. You mapped the elements of light on the sphere. You drew the owl skull using chiaroscuro, and you identified meanings of symbols in the Vanitas. So your creative challenge is you are going to create a symbolic self-portrait Vanitas. You're not drawing yourself, okay? It's made up of objects that symbolize you or your life or what's important to you in some way. You need to have at least 5 objects. You can have more. And you can choose how to do this. You can use photography, you can draw, or you can paint. It's up to you. And on the right, you see an example of one of these. This is a photograph that has got some filters on it, and it talks about this person's life. There's a computer, and they included the skull in the computer. You do not have to include a skull. They have a mirrored analog clock in the background, and then there's some hints too about who they might be. There's perfume, there's a wine bottle, there's a glass and a flute and a lamp. This is the same kind of assignment that I do with college classes because photography, and it really gives you an insight into what's important to you. So directions. You're creating a still life Vanitas using objects that represent you. So you need to arrange the objects. Think about the examples that you saw yesterday. Make sure your objects are different heights, they overlap. Use some sort of plain backdrop, a cloth, a sheet, or something for your background so that the focus is on the objects. And you have a choice. You can do photography and then use editing to create chiaroscuro drama, or you can draw and paint the objects using contrast to create drama. So I have an example for you. This is my unedited objects from the room here that symbolize me. This is the edited photo, and I just played around with filters and adjustments in a photo app to really push the shadows back in that black background, bring out the whites like in the little mini cow skull, things of that nature. And then you're going to write down what each object symbolizes. Add this as a document. Remember, do not turn your photo in as a document. Turn that in as a separate attachment. And then I also did a painted version. This is watercolor with some colored pencil on it. And I have my explanation of my objects. The bendy guy, which its real name is a mannequin, represents art. It represents myself because I'm a very flexible person, not physically, but I adapt well. And it's pointing towards the truck and the skull. The cow skull is there. It was a little miniature cow skull that a student brought me one time. I collect bones, which you know if you've been in the classroom, and I do taxidermy as well. There's a truck postcard, the old truck, and the buildings in the background. That's a New Mexican postcard. New Mexico is a very special place for me. I live there in the summertime, and that's where my heart lives. There's a rock underneath the cow skull. That represents travel. I collect rocks wherever I go. And from Friends Adventures, if somebody's going someplace, I say, bring me back a rock. It's pretty much a free souvenir. And this is the big rock that's on my computer in the office. And a student brought this for me all the way from London. There's some turquoise colored yarn. I love to weave. I do fiber art. And that also represents life. If you know about Greek mythology and the three fates and the string of life, so that's why that's there. And then there's a lot of turquoise color because that's my favorite color at the moment. And it's also my birthstone. So that's kind of what you need to do. All right? I can't wait to see them.